Often in this commission, based on my experience, we talk to you don't talk about the planning. And what's good for the neighborhood, your neighborhood, okay?
All right, call the Tuesday, October 4th, 2022 meeting of the Wethersfield Planning and Zoning Commission to order. Brian, could you take the attendance, please?
Absolutely. You are here, I am here. Commissioner Hammer? Commissioner Hughes?
Yes.
Commissioner Oikel?
Here.
Commissioner Dean?
Here.
Commissioner Homicki?
No.
Edwards?
Here.
Commissioner Vieira? Commissioner Drake?
Here.
Commissioner Lambruni?
Here.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
Is here.
All right, so that's 6 regular members and 3 alternates. I'll seat the 3 alternates. We have one public hearing item. The way we're going to work the public hearing is the applicant will come up, identify himself for the record, tell us what it is that he wants to apply for. The commission may have some questions, comments, and so forth. We'll go back and forth with the applicant. Once we're done with that, we'll open it up to members of the public who may have comments or questions about the application. They can speak to the commission at that point. Once we've heard from everybody in the public that wants to participate, we'll have the applicant come back up, to respond to any of those questions, as well as any additional comments or questions that the commission might have. If after that we think we have enough information to make a decision, we'll close the public hearing and deliberate. If there are, at that point, still open questions, we may continue the hearing to another meeting to get that additional information, but you'll be aware of what's happening while it's happening, and it'll all be tonight. So, first item 3.1, public hearing 2123-22Z. Dominik Stefanski seeking a special permit in accordance with Section 36C, accessory buildings and structures of the Wethersfield zoning regulations for a gazebo over 200 square feet at 140 Boulter Road. So if you want to come up here, just give us your name and address for the record, and a brief description of what you want to do.
Right to the mic.
Right there.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dominik Stefanski. I live on 140 Boulter Road in Wethersfield, Connecticut. I've been living there since 2016. Well, most of my life in Wethersfield. I'm trying to build a gazebo right next around the pool. The size I'm looking is 13 by 24. It's going to be 1 full wall and 2 half walls of the gazebo, and the roof and the sides. So the size I'm looking is 13 by 24.
Okay. And it's going to be on that patio next to the pool there?
Right. Yeah, extend that patio a little.
Concrete.
Right, yeah, right, sir. That concrete.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions, Peter?
Do you have any pictures of it? I mean, how tall is it? What kind of roof structure? I mean,
Well,
since it's quite a bit bigger than what's allowed, I think it'd be good for us to understand what the envelope is. Because
So
I
I
think you
s-
just provided a sketch that just gives us,
I submit a building permit for a smaller size, but when I find out that I need the zoning, so actually the building permit department has a sketch. It's going to be the same look, just a little longer. I mean, let me see.
but do you have a sketch you can show us?
Well, for the new one, I don't. Just the drawings that I drew for the size of the lot and where I want to be. So you
Do you have
guys,
a picture of the old one?
no, building department has that old one for the permit. I mean, it's going to, like I said, it's going to be the same look just a little longer than,
Yeah, I guess the problem is we never saw the old one, so we don't know what that looks
Yeah,
like, and,
I know, but they couldn't get me back. They didn't want to give it back to me, the old one, for the building. When I came in a couple weeks ago to submit that, I asked them, so they didn't want to give it to me, so I didn't draw that new one yet, because I might change some stuff, like, you know, but it's gonna be, it was supposed to be 2 pillars, now it's 3 pillars, so I have to redraw a new one, but it's gonna be exactly as the same as the old one, just like I said, just a longer one, but
okay,
I
so
don't have
what are,
that.
what are the outside dimensions?
13 by 24.
Okay, and it's gonna have like a low railing around it?
So it's gonna be one full wall that's 24 feet, and then 2 half walls, 13 feet, one on the side, and then front, it's gonna be open.
Okay,
And 3 pillars, 1, 2, and 3. It's gonna be the pillar in the middle.
okay, and about how high is it gonna be?
Standard, well, it's 8 feet. 10
Inside.
Inside. So it will be open inside, so it's not gonna be, I'm not gonna have a ceiling like this. It's just gonna be open ceiling from the wood.
Okay, so it's probably like another 2 feet above
Probably
that?
2 feet, yeah. So it's probably 12, 13 feet tall, probably not that much.
Okay, you gonna have lights in it?
I'm sorry?
Are you gonna have lights inside?
No lights right now.
Okay,
What's that cross-section, the barrier shape, that F shape? Is that what, one of the columns, or is that what the wall's gonna look like? The little F-shaped thing is that barrier?
Oh, no, this was just a drawing. It's gonna be the collar for one of those pillars.
So
for the
the
wall.
pillar, that's like the base?
Yeah, the base for the pillar, yeah.
That's not like what the wall?
No,
that wall is made
no,
of?
just a pillar.
George?
Yeah, although we didn't get a picture of it and,
Sorry.
you know, all that, I realize it, and I almost called to find out if the town could ship those out to us, but,
Yeah.
no, I didn't do that. The point is that I think you're in an area, and I've said this several times recently, the part of town, which may include part of my area, but not really. I don't know, older parts too, even up in New Wethersfield, as we call it. But the southern part of town, the lots are so big that you have no problems with adjoining neighbors. And most of you have hedges, which I think you do, fences,
Yeah, I do.
which you do, I believe. And so you've secured your lot from visibility, which is a concern this commission has with adjoining neighbors. And I don't think you have any problems. And I think your adjoining neighbor next to you wouldn't have a problem with you because they don't see it that much back there.
Well, I did specific size, so we not, be
Yeah.
both parties satisfied, so I
So
think
you're
it's no
gonna
problem.
make it look as good as you can and aesthetically and,
Well-
it sits up on that slab platform and.
You do want
I
to
think
look at something
you
nice.
secured it. I don't think there's any problem with your neighborhood. So that's my feeling.
Thank you.
Any, Dave?
Is the concrete pad already there?
Yes.
So the concrete's there, just
Yeah.
what that was shown, so
Yeah.
you just put something on
Yeah, I
something
did pull a
existing?
permit for that concrete too.
Okay, so all the neighbors have seen this concrete and everything for a while?
Yeah, probably a year
Yeah?
now.
Okay.
All right, anybody else have a question? Tom?
Just a quick question for Denise, actually. Section 3.6 has 5 general requirements for issuing a special permit for this area. Are those requirements all met with this application?
The only provision that he's asking relief for is the size, being over 200 square feet.
So everything else is in compliance?
That's correct.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? All right, you can sit down for a minute. Is there anybody in the public that wants to comment on this application?
I guess I should.
Sure, come on up, just please give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Brian Moran. I live at 134 Boulter Road, which is the neighbor to Dominik on the north side, going up the hill. I'm not opposed. He's been a great neighbor. We're good friends. I just always concerned because I haven't really seen what it's going to look like. So I'm a little nervous about that. But if it meets all the requirements that you folks have, then I'm certainly for it. George, there is no barrier on our side, though. Just so you know.
There isn't.
No.
You're the next door neighbor?
Yes.
To his,
To his,
Right.
up the street.
yeah, up the street.
Up the street. There is a barrier on the other side of Abrevieties,
right.
but on my side, there isn't anything. So my only concern would be obviously the overall size of it, the noise, any noise or whatnot from parties or whatnot, but, they have not been an issue here up to now, so I don't anticipate it, but I would love to see what it actually looks like when it's all done. So that's my only concern. And if it meets all the requirements that you folks put in place, then I'm okay. All right?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, that's why I was trying to draw out things like dimensions and, appearance and so forth. Anybody else wanting to speak on this? Sure, come on up.
Good evening, my name is Joanne Koza, I live at 82 Meadowgate. Again, I'm not opposed to the gazebo, I was just, in fact, I spoke with Denise earlier today, just to get more information. I was concerned about lighting, because my property sits down, we're more down in the valley from up on Boulter, and although there's no lights proposed, which is fine, my understanding is, if the approval goes through, I would like to see some conditions in there, just stipulating the type of lighting, the only type of lighting that would be allowed, which my understanding is it's more of a shielded, fully cut off lighting, so it would be no spotlights allowed at all. I would just like to see that in writing, just to ensure that, even though Dominik, I think I said he has no plans for lights right now, but just to cover us down the road. Also, I know there's been, I don't know what Dominik plans on using it for, but with family gatherings, whatever, and I realize that it's not within this jurisdiction, but again, having a conversation with Dominik earlier, just to question, make sure there's no amplification of music or things like that that might be disturbing to the neighborhood, based on size or what it's going to be used for. But other than that, if it meets all the other requirements, I have no issues with it, but just those two things would be just being conscious of neighbors, because it is a densely populated area. There, some of the lots are larger than others, but, there are all the abutting property owners. So it's just to be, considerate of the neighbors, that's all.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else? All right. If not, do you want to come back up and,
So, I do have a picture of the gazebo that I kind of want to build, but if you'd like to see it through the phone, I can pass my phone around and you guys can see it. Just let me find it.
yeah, and if you could email it to Denise, that would be helpful,
Okay.
just so that we have.
I mean,
it
I
for the
can,
record.
like I said, I can draw one. I got your message, but I didn't
Yeah.
pick it up until 5 o'clock afterwards. I thought you were already out, so I didn't have a chance to call you. But I can, like I said, I can redraw a new one and scan it and email it to you. Probably give me a couple of days. But just let me see. I have a picture of it. Just. Sorry for your time.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, I want to see it before we vote on it, not 2 days before we see it.
Denise, is there a height requirement on these accessory structures?
Not to exceed 18 feet.
18 feet, okay.
10 feet. That's it.
No, the scale is way up.
That's from the bottom all the way to the top of the roof, okay.
Get himself with his face, 'cause it seems really-
While you're looking, it sounded like the lighting wasn't a big deal.
Well, if we do, it's gonna be a spotlights right next to the entrance, next to the house where the gate's gonna be.
But no issues with putting any kind of stipulation for the type of lighting that it would be?
Well, like I said, it's not gonna be a spot, I mean, I have a spotlight on the house already that been there for the pool.
Yeah, but this, I guess, would it be specific?
So, it's not gonna be another spotlights, blasting out, neighbors and stuff. It might just be,
Any fixtures would have to be fully cut off, fully shielded.
I'll tell you about one that isn't.
when you wanna try to find something you can't find, right?
Is this prefabricated, or are you gonna build it yourself?
No, it's gonna be built straight from the ground. The wood that we're using is cut from the trees, and
So this is designed and built by you?
kinda, yeah, me and a friend of mine that will put it up. So he's a woodworker, so he'll take care of all that.
Yeah, I think what he was asking, it isn't like a barnyard.
No, you don't buy it, you don't buy it in the store. I'm sorry.
So, Mr. Chairman, we're not gonna act on this done tonight till we see the picture. Or what?
I think we'd probably feel better if we knew what it was we were voting on.
Okay, maybe so.
I agree with
So
that.
he doesn't have.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be obsessive, but I mean, you're approving something and all you have is
Yeah.
a picture of one of the stanchions for a pillar.
And also, with all due respect to the neighbors, they probably want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, I think frankly, they care more than we do.
So I think it's the right thing to do.
Can we disapprove it if it's ugly? Are we allowed to do that? I was gonna say, I don't think so, right?
No.
No, Dave, we can't.
I'm with, no, I understand what you're saying. I don't have a problem with waiting to see what it looks
No,
like. I just
but
wasn't sure if we could
In
disapprove it.
reality,
if
this
it's
is
ugly.
50% bigger than the regulations.
Right,
It's-
I agree.
I mean, everything we've approved so far has been like 1 or 2, 3, 4,
agree.
5%. We're talking about a 50% escalation of the size.
No, I
So
agree,
it'd be
yeah.
good to see, okay, what's it gonna look like?
But he's right, his question.
It's really the square
I don't
footage
think we've
and the
ever
height.
turned
Heights
one down
driven
because
by
it-
reg.
It being poor doesn't
It-
design poorly.
Well, the public
point-
weighs in, and then you weigh in with what the public reacts to it, and then, so it does impact it.
I think it does if the public reacts negatively to it.
So,
It's common.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if he wants to make it bigger, it needs to look
Right.
good
It
for,
needs to-
I agree with
It
you.
needs to be conducive to the neighborhood.
The only thing, other thing you're doing, you kind of did yourself a disservice because you're way out of scale here, I think. That 13 foot's like way off here.
Sketch.
No, I understand that. If you looked at it, you look, it was way bigger, but it's really quite smaller.
Yeah.
That 13 feet, this is way narrower than the picture shows, right?
It's not the
Yeah, because I mean, if
By a
that,
lot.
if that's
By a
10,
lot.
that's certainly not
Yeah.
13.
Yeah. I mean, it's really narrow and long,
Maybe it's
Okay.
not to scale.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you had a picture, we could probably make a decision tonight, but if you don't, maybe we should just get a picture at some point.
I did have a picture just somewhere.
Can you Google gazebo? and see?
Chairman, I think we should see this, and we've made a point of it tonight. And normally I might not, because they're generally standard or come from standard locations, but he's building this.
Right.
So it's the cookie cutter thing that worries, I think, us a little bit. I don't think the neighborhood issue is a problem, but maybe we ought not to act on it until we see it.
No, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking, is that, you know, I don't think it's gonna be an issue, but I think we have a kind of a
Scale elevation,
scale threshold responsibility to at least know what it is that we're voting on.
I agree with you.
planning is on, we have to have.
So we
that.
did have the original submission to the building department, which I have taken a look at. I did reach out to the applicant to see if we could get the revised conceptual drawing. I'm not sure if you want to move on to the next item while he continues to search, or,
I think I'd like to move on to the next item myself.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, I had a picture.
All right, just so that you don't have to
Yeah,
stand there,
sorry.
how about motion to recess the public hearing for the time being?
Motion's all made, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Motion by Jim, second by George. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Yeah, you can
You know?
look for it at your
Okay.
leisure here.
All right.
The next item is 4.1, Frank DiBacco modified bond set for Phase 3. And
You're back again?
I'm a bad penny.
You're like,
I assume you've seen the memo dated today that
Yes, I
we're just now looking at?
Take your time.
and you're gonna say you love it.
I totally in love with it.
so Mr. DiBacco and the engineering department have been working together to set what should be proposed. The last revision was submitted to Derek's office yesterday afternoon, so his response was just in response to what we received yesterday.
So the idea is you're installing water and sewer within the Phase 3 limits of construction during Phase 2?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he
It's-
estimates that at 138.8?
Yeah.
Okay.
How does that relate to when you were here last?
My wife sold things on me that I wasn't quite ready for. So when I was here last, it was just for Phase 2, and she has now entertained and has non-refundable deposits for Lot 9, 11, 12. So she's sort of forcing me to go a little faster than I wanted to, which is great, but the main issue, the reason why, and I sprung on the day to Derek when he had that conference meeting with MDC, it's, we've been trying to build the approvals with MDC since March to get the road started. We just finally got their acceptance, I think maybe 2 weeks ago, for them to
They're a
hire.
little slow these days on these kind of things?
They don't have any staff, so they had to hire a consultant to supervise the installation of the sewer and water, and it took them almost 6 months to get us a consultant so that we can start construction. So they finally released us as of, I think, Denise, 2 weeks ago, I think we had that meeting, or a week ago. So we can now start commencing activity as of the 10th. So we started cleaning up some odds and ends, clearing out some low-lying shrubbery to get the clearing limits done, and getting ready for our water and our sewer. So at the day of the meeting, I determined that instead of waiting another 7 months to get in line with MDC, I've asked to extend it and finish off and get rid of completely anything related to,
6 to 7 months, next spring, summer?
just to get them back to do Phase 3 if I chose to wait. So I decided after just quickly chit-chatting unofficially with the MDC that we're going to go the whole thing. And then I sprung that on Derek when he got on the phone or the teleconference, and now we're here with Denise trying to put this bond together to finish off anything related to the MDC firm and get it all in. So with that said, instead of modifying the bond and incurring another expense, we're going to be issuing a check for a deposit to the city or the town of Wethersfield, and then just put it into escrow, and I ask that you don't go bankrupt with my money, because I'm going to want it back. But one thing that I do want to ask as we go forward with this on Phase 3, as you recall, I hate putting money up for a paper bond. I would like to continue using and revolving that deposit that we're going to hand over to Denise to finish off whatever we choose to, and then prior to issuing a building permit, we would bond the rest, which would be most likely depending on the weather, it would be the wear course and the binder course. And just keep revolving the funds and just let us continue to build the road at a pace during the course of the winter as weather permits. And then when we come in for a permit, we'd bond whatever's not finished, like standard protocol for the town, to save some expenses in the middle if possible. So that's what I'm basically going to.
So basically, instead of asking to have some chunk of it released, you want to have it applied toward
whatever comes next. So if I want to, so instead of doing the water and sewer, and here's the $138,000, and the water and sewer is done, it's inspected, it's been accepted by the MDC, and then the next part comes, let's put in the
sidewalks and streetlights.
Whatever, box out, put the process, the gravel, bringing in the gas, bringing in the electric, just let us keep revolving it back and forth, and then when we're done and we need to put in the cash bond to get a building permit, then we would change it from the cash bond, if so desired, into a paper bond.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense conceptually. It's just you want to make sure that the timing is such that, at the point where you would be asking for a release of this bond, you have the next one, spec'd out so that it can just be applied going forward. All right. Does anybody have any questions?
I do have one more comment, though. If I finish the water and I continue with the road on Phase 3, do I need to come back in front of you for every single approval on every single item, or can Derek just do that internally to use the funds to bond the next piece or component, whatever we're doing?
No, I think he could just send memos saying you've asked for a release of, pick a number, 100,000 on.
I don't want to release it. I just want to do the next phase of work.
No, I mean, but it technically would be releasing it, applying it to the next thing. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need to come back for those as long as we have a paper trail of approvals going forward.
That's all basically we're doing.
Okay. All right. If nothing else, somebody want to make a motion to accept a second performance bond for $138,000 to do the water and sewer installations for Phase 3?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
All right. Motion by George, second by Jim. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask a quick question on something unrelated to the road, or do I have to wait till questions at the end?
No, you can go.
So I sent Denise a plan today. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see it. So we had a client come in and asking if they can do a mother-in-law suite on one of our lots. And I don't know what the regulations state, but the plan that we submitted to Denise for a quick conversation, it showed an entrance from the garage into the living room kitchenette of the mother, and then an entrance from the garage for the house, and then the door connecting the kitchen to the other kitchen. I always under the impression that you can't have two kitchens in a home, but they don't have a second means of egress other than the garage. Is that something that's allowed in town?
We do have provisions for accessory apartments, and kitchens are not necessarily prohibited. It's really, the threshold is not more than 40% of the square footage or 850 square feet.
Oh, I think it's 820 ironically, and the whole house, I
And
think,
it
is...
is by special permit, so you would have to apply through planning and zoning and come
Okay.
for a special
Is there any
permit. But
special
I can
procedure,
review-
but
I
just
can
take it-
review it for you
That'd be great.
tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and that, it's pretty straightforward.
Right, we've approved some of them already. and-
Well, I'm just remembering the conversation you had last month about the second floor, and that was a total nightmare, and the tax assessor and denying something, and I just don't want to end up there.
No, and I think the kind of the trigger is that when the assessor goes in and sees a second kitchen, they kind of start asking questions like, how many people are living here, and is this really a two-family? And, this, going through the accessory apartment or accessory dwelling unit process just puts that to rest, that it is an approved, use, and nobody has issues with it going forward.
And a lot of the issues that came before us are in the older part of town where there might have been a two-family house unrecognized in a single-family area and that kind of stuff.
Okay.
What new ones would have approved a few, and seemed to be no issue or problem with it.
Okay. So then I'll bring in the check in about 10 days or so.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. about
Okay,
it.
thank you. Anything else? All set? Thank you, gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Next item, meeting dates.
Make a motion to approve the meeting dates for next year, Mr. Chairman.
The only question I have is November 7th, if that's election day, they're going to be using this room, so we may have to push it off.
You want to suggest what it is and make that part of the motion?
Make it November 8th, a Wednesday.
Okay. Then that should be part of the motion approval.
Oh, there it is.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Motion by George, second by Peter. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Any luck? Yes. All right, good.
Aye.
We'll reopen the public hearing. Did you show it to them and?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Need a motion to reopen?
No, we'll just do it. We recessed it. We'll just reopen.
You want me to? I can pass the phone.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just don't make it go off.
Yeah.
Or give us the password?
Yeah, the battery's dead.
You can move it around.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
only had problems with those things in my world.
So you're not gonna have a light problem with this?
No,
No, it's obvious there's no light problem with this, all right.
so the roof is gonna be exactly as that, black.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all. I like the style. So it's gonna be, like I said, it's like the picture, the full wall is gonna be full closed and then two on the sides. For the
The lights are
fence, for the
coming down.
fence.
Lights are
Yeah,
coming down from underneath, yeah.
if I do put it, it's gonna be, recessed lights next to the entrance.
The back of this then is it
The
goes
wall
toward your
going
next
to
door-
Brian's,
next door
right,
neighbor,
back,
right?
right. The full wall is gonna be Brian.
Then that faces the pool or whatever, right? The open.
The opening face, right.
Thank you.
You saw the pictures.
See, that's why I had it at the 45.
Oh, I've seen one of these before. All right. No, thank you for that. I mean, sorry for the inconvenience in putting you on the spot, but I think it definitely helps everybody, including your neighbors, understand what it is that, what we're talking about. Were you comfortable with that, or do you want to?
Just to review what's going to be, what I'm going to.
Please come on up here just so that we can get it.
And he hasn't addressed it, but I'm sure he will. Brian Warren again, 134 Boulter Road.
Yep.
Just my question is the full wall that runs facing, and that's what I'm going to look at. I just want Dominik to address what that's going to look like. what finish, what's going to go on that wall, because that's what I'm going to look at. I'm not going to see the pretty part.
No. Good point, and that's right. in
Yeah,
the
like, is it gonna
backyard.
be shingles or plywood or?
What's he got to say?
Say concrete block, right?
Make it pretty.
That's 24-foot wall.
Yes, so I do have a siding on my house, it's a coffee color. We finished, I was, put a matching siding, and the walls on the side is gonna have stone. So Brian, I can do half stone on his side and then finish siding from all around.
Make it pretty. Make it pretty. Gotta look at it. Do we have that?
So,
It's big.
It's not gonna be like
I
straight.
can show movies on this wall.
so if I do half on the sides stone, then I might just come around and finish half wall and then finish with a siding for the top.
Siding that kind of matches your house?
Yeah, it was gonna be matching for the house.
Okay.
You're lucky he's building it, he can alter it as you would
like
like to
that.
see, so. And he's cooperative, he's a
So-
good neighbor.
Yeah.
All right. Does anybody else have questions or anything else?
And the lighting's been addressed? We talked about that somewhere.
There's no lighting in the back, right?
No.
So everything's down
Yeah,
inside?
so, on other sides, it's not gonna be, if I put lighting, it's not in the back, it's gonna be on the sides or inside, overhang the, roof, and spotlights, not in, not in major, just regular recessed lights going down.
Inside?
No, not spotlight, I'm sorry, I'm at recessed lights, no spotlights, don't worry.
Not even on the side.
No,
So are you okay if we make that a condition of approval?
that's fine with the lighting?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
fine.
they're comfortable?
Yeah,
All right.
like I said, no spotlight.
Okay, thank you. All right. Anything else? All right, someone want to make
I'll
a,
make the motion that we approve the,
well, I was going to ask for a motion to close the hearing.
oh. I thought you were gonna approve it.
Well,
Who's second?
hold that thought. Jim made it, Ryan seconded to close the hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Okay. Now go, Peter.
All right,
You heard the bathrooms were
I'll make a
broken, so-
motion that we approve, application 2123-22-Z, as presented, with the stipulation that there are no spotlights, in the back or the sides. The lighting will be, underneath or in a recessed fashion.
You want cutoff lighting, is that what you want?
I think, yeah.
Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah.
All right,
All right, was there one other one, or is that it?
Well, there was the music one, but I don't.
That's outside of us.
yeah.
We'll do that with commercial. All right,
Second if you want.
okay. Motion by Peter, second by George. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? Okay, thank you. All right, next, minutes of September 20th, which we'll refer to as the Allard hearing.
Make a motion to approve, Mr.
Do you guys want me to
Chairman.
sign them or?
Yeah, really, autograph.
Almost set.
We're good.
Yep.
You want
luck.
me to, wait for a letter from you, Denise, or?
You can submit for a building permit, but I'll
Oh, yeah.
reach out to you.
We submit that Monday. And new drawings, they probably want. probably.
Yes.
Okay, so I get everything by Monday. Okay, thank you so much.
All right,
Welcome.
Thank you, good night.
all right,
Make a motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
all right. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, motion by George, second by Peter, to approve the September 20th minutes. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I understand I wasn't here.
Okay. All right. Cannabis regulations.
So I just wanted to give you a brief update. Rich had been kind enough a few weeks ago to email me a summary about the Department of Consumer Protection's information that they've compiled regarding the Connecticut municipalities. Essentially, as of August 17th, 27 municipalities have approved establishments, 36 have placed moratoriums, and 17 have instituted bans. So what I've done is reached out to all of the communities that have some kind of approval in place, spoken with the planners, gotten copies of the regulations. I did compile a spreadsheet. The most unique differences are really in terms of the separation distances between educational, religious, residential uses, and then whether or not there are certain caps on the types of facilities. So before the meeting today, I emailed you a packet of basically the full copy of all of the regulations from those municipalities. And I was thinking that with the light agenda that we have at our next meeting, I would take the information that I've compiled and draft a set of regulations to start to discuss, to send to CROG to review and set for public hearing.
Okay.
So the process is get the additional information packaged together, then it goes to a public presentation and hearing?
So regulation amendments need to go to be reviewed by CROG 30 days in advance of a public hearing. So taking the information that I have now, there's a pretty standard template of draft regulations. I would send something to you guys to review, but then compile that and send it up to CROG and set the actual public hearing.
But we would look at it and talk about it before that would happen.
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
And then the public hearing is?
It would be in
for us,
November.
For zoning?
That's right.
Okay.
If we don't want to go ahead with a set of regulations, though, we can say we don't want to, for example. If we wanted to do something like that.
Well,
I'm not sure we would.
Yeah, I mean, I think unless we're gonna continue the moratorium again, which gets kind of silly at a certain point, we would have to put in regulations that either, you know, permit some or all of the uses or prohibit some or all of the uses, just so that we're not
Okay.
kind of in this purgatory of neither nor.
No, I want to do something one way or the other, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
That's the way to do it. Okay,
frankly, I
you're
think,
right.
you know, regardless of what we do, it's important to do something because, you know, in the absence of a moratorium or regulations, the statute says they can come in and apply to be treated like.
Oh, yeah. No, I think we
Like
want
a
to do
like
something
use.
one way or
Yeah.
the other. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
How
Good.
come we're not on the list on moratorium? Any reason? Let me ask you this, what does ban mean, and then method, what does that mean?
That they've actually enacted regulations to ban facilities.
Then with the methods, planning and zoning, so planning and zoning put something together and said, we're gonna ban it.
Or the town council.
The town council.
Yeah.
That's why one said, that's why Clinton is ordinance and Woodbury is ordinance, Denise, and those are where the town
That's
council
correct.
acted.
Yep.
So we're gonna go back to town council first to get a little guidance? I know we had a little bit before, but, or no? I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, it's the same town council, so I think we just need to be reminded what it was that they had.
Yeah, I don't understand, it wasn't real clear what you guys decided, right? It wasn't, if I recall,
Well, no, I
wasn't
think
that
it was clear. It was
it?
that they didn't support retail sales, but they were okay with having a regulation that allowed the cultivation, the growing, the production, that kind of stuff.
So what is Denise gonna write up? Are you gonna write both regulations, set of regulations, or will you look at both?
Well, I think, you know, I am looking for direction from you, but
We don't want
the
you to do
last
extra work.
conversation that we did have, I think we left it, does this commission want to at least have the ability to vote on dispensaries?
Yeah, I mean,
Or have we left that to
Yeah, I
the
mean,
council to make the decision?
No, I think we should see what it would look like, and if we decide we don't want to do it, we can decide we don't want to do it, but at least you know, if we were to have those regulations, what would they say?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think prohibiting them from coming is,
I want it to be an open understanding of commission, because the town council has felt we have to be the ones acting on it. I think they made that clear to us, have they not, Tom? Or haven't they?
So I'll have a draft for you for your next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't want to have a total ban, so then it drives us to a regulations, right?
And so they kind of tossed it our way along that line, or not?
And I don't know that the town council made a vote, it was a conversation.
No, they took a vote.
Okay.
That was the night my internet went out.
If,
They couldn't vote.
yeah. If for some reason we want to ban though, do we want to exercise you to go through all that work? I mean, you're going to spend a lot of time putting stuff together.
I mean, there might be a situation where you decide to ban one type of establishment and permit the other. So I think that's just going to be part of the discussion and part of the motion.
But has the list been established of those locations, or is it going to be a floating, you know, someday someone comes up, I want to do this?
As
and then we
part
have
of,
to
as
rewrite
part
it?
of the draft, you know, we would put separation distances in place, and I could do mapping to show you if you put 250 feet from these types of establishments versus 500 feet, what that would look like. And
With this list you had, one town had 2,000 square feet, which
Well,
basically
yeah,
probably
yeah.
puts you out of the town.
Well, those are bigger towns too, I mean
Right.
geographically, not population-wise, but, yeah, I mean, and the other thing too is that, you know, I don't know that I'm going out too far on a limb to say we probably don't want it in residential zones. You know, so that excludes probably 75 or 80% of the acreage in town. You know, and from then, it's like, you know, if we're going to allow it, do we want it in the village business district? Do we want it in the regional commercial? Do we want it in the town center? I mean, you know.
Again, we were talking about just growing it, right, somewhere? That's pretty limited, right?
We're talking about either,
World.
you know, because,
No, no, I thought the town council just said agriculture growing, not retail, right? No,
yeah,
retail.
that was advice to us.
That was advice, that's okay.
But I mean, you know, on the other hand, if they feel strongly enough about it, they can
There's a solution for
pass an
Keisha Farm.
ordinance. Huh?
There's a solution for Keisha Farm. They could grow it there.
Oh, jeez. Oh, get a controversy going?
There you go.
Got it right there.
Okay. So we're still open to anything right now, actually, right? So that's kind of where we're at.
Well, I mean, I think the idea is we'll look at regulations and decide whether we want to permit it, and if so, where, and if not, you know, just kind
It
of,
just, I'll be honest with you, it just seems odd to me. See, if we want it, then we should put together regulations, not look at regulations to decide if we want it. It just seems backwards to me, but I'm okay with that. though.
well, I mean, the regulations would be really short if we decide we don't want it.
Correct. That's why I didn't want to exercise, or if we just said we don't want it, then we don't have to worry about the I mean, the idea of doing regulations that we don't know if we want it, it just seems reverse to me, but that's okay. I mean, I can live with that. It's not, it doesn't affect my
Who knows
lifestyle.
what commission members
I
really
agree.
might want it, and might want to see
Yeah.
what it could be,
Okay, no, that's fine.
even if they vote against it
Yeah.
or something.
I just don't want to exercise it
Yeah.
if there's a lot of people here who don't want it. If a lot of people want it, then we go through it. I have no problem
Maybe
with
it's a
that.
lot of work putting it together for Denise and
Yeah.
stuff, but.
But I think that was the purpose of putting the moratorium in place, is to do that
Denise, you're going to
research.
do what we have for the medical marijuana, where it just be, you'll locate the parts of town with the different circumferences where we can actually put them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and most of the places that have regulations, you know, have kind of piggybacked off their medical ones, you know, quite often to the point of
Right. Why would we want to
improperly
do,
using the same definitions.
I can't understand personally, why we'd want to do medical marijuana when there's one right on the line here in Wethersfield, you know, on the Berlin Turnpike.
As I pointed out,
Happens to be
within
in
15
Newington, but I mean,
within
it could be
15
in
miles of this
Wethersfield.
town, there's three or four medical marijuana locations when we had our meeting. I just simply did a geographic study, and it was like, within 15 miles, you can go to three or four other places. Why do we need one in Wethersfield?
Well,
We
that's
still
a
went,
good
we
point.
still went through the,
Didn't we talk that way when we were doing
Yeah.
the medical marijuana? Yeah, we did.
How many liquor stores are in town? How many liquor stores are on the border of the next town? Who cares?
Yeah, how many
It's a
pizza,
business.
how
It's
many
like-
pizza restaurants?
It
do
just
we have
makes
in town?
sense.
Medical marijuana.
Right.
We had an 80-some-odd-year-old woman here telling us how she has to go to Hartford or somewhere else for a
It's a
prescription.
medication.
Yeah.
Would we say we don't want another doctor's office because we already have a doctor's office? Well, whatever, it's just, it's worth a debate.
well, that's
Yeah.
it, because then it's the public hearing.
Right.
That's right.
That's important.
And hear from the public is the point, yeah.
All right.
The only other document that I distributed was a development update report. It's going to go out to the Economic Development Commission next week. I can email this to you as well, and if you have any questions about any specific property updates, I'd be more than willing to answer those for you.
What's 24 Maple Street? The second page in the bottom.
That is where the ABC Burger Company had been approved,
In the
See,
corner of the parking lot
corner
at
of
the,
Maple, Middletown.
where the New Britain Candy Company.
Oh, down at that part, okay, I'm with you.
What are they talking about?
just trying to locate 24 Maple Street.
Burger place that was on the corner.
This is recognizable to me.
What's going in over there in the Berlin Turnpike again? Where they took down that building? You know yet?
The
Somebody just get a demolition?
The old diner, the candle,
Yeah.
there is no proposed site plan associated with that. They just came in to demolish the structure, I think,
Demolition only. Oh,
to make the property more marketable.
no hint of
Move
anything.
it.
I've not seen any conceptual plans for it.
Well, they probably wanted to get it down by October 1st, so they don't have
Antique
to pay
stuff,
taxes on an empty building for another year.
Oh, okay.
I was thinking that would be worth
Or,
it.
did, the Rite Aid 657 Silas Dean, didn't we have an applicant in here talking about wanting to turn that into?
We just had a car wash guy.
That was the last meeting, the car wash.
We had a dancing.
I was thinking that for the cosmetology.
That location was approved for the cosmetology. They're not planning on going forward with that fit
Oh,
up
okay.
anymore.
All right, so I thought that was the plan for them, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good
Anything else?
summary. Nice job.
That's all I have to report.
All right. James has made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Can I bring up one thing?
Oh,
We saw it tonight, we saw it tonight with that gazebo. I've made presentations to municipalities for different sizes for planning and zoning. And can we establish within our regulations that you must have a scale plan, a scale elevation, a scale section for any structure? You can say over so many square feet. It just seems that, I mean, napkin sketches,
Yeah.
I've done them all my life. But to present to us what he showed us tonight was like trying to read Braille. And I'm just saying that if we could have that in our regulations, that if you're gonna submit, you must have this or you're not allowed to present.
I had reached out to him to get additional information. I was hoping to have that in advance of the meeting. And then I was definitely hoping to have that available for you without scrolling like that. But I will definitely try to make it a point to.
yeah, I mean, I think if you actually look at our regulations, there probably are things like that that are required. You know, sometimes it boomerangs against us to try to be cooperative and applicant-friendly when, you know, people come in with things that aren't necessarily ripe.
Sorry about that.
And there was a motion from Jim
Second.
and seconded by George to adjourn. Gonna make it go past 8 o'clock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you.
Open it for discussion.
Well, closed Sunday night.
Yeah, darn,
Biggie.
darn, I missed the opportunity.
Yeah, they had the Leonard Skinner concert.
Craving fried Oreos. Screwed it up.